I am Reverend Nancy Dibelius of the United Methodists of Upper New York. I would like to introduce the spiritual practice known as praying the Psalms. This practice began in the earliest centuries of the Christian Church with the communities of the Desert Mothers and Fathers. One of the most well-known practices of the desert communities was reciting the Psalms, all 150, as a form of worship. The practice we are going to explore today emerged out of reciting the Psalms as part of worship. They would select specific verses or phrases to take into prayer, to lead them into a holy place where they would encounter God. Over the centuries, this practice was used with scripture other than the Psalms. Scripture of a poetic nature lends itself well. The writings of the prophets or Proverbs, for example. The Psalms were the most commonly used because the writers of these prayers brought their most honest, authentic, vulnerable selves to God. Their language expressed a bold confidence, and they trusted this God to hear all of who they were, including the angry and fearful places in their lives. We might occasionally take a lesson from the psalmists and remember that God is big enough to hear and hold all of who we are. God, perhaps better than we, understands our humanity. The intent of this practice is to enter into prayerful, holy space and encounter God and hear God's deep desire for us. Start by reading through a single psalm or section of scripture, listening for a particular verse or phrase that seems to speak to you. Moving through the scripture slowly, pausing after each repetition. Repeat the verse or phrase, and each time you do so, drop a word at the end until only one word remains. Listen carefully for what is new or different each time you drop a word. How does the meaning change for you? Reflect on that newness. What might God's invitation to you be as new understandings emerge? When you are left with only one word, take time to reflect on the many ways in which that may be speaking to you. Take time to be in prayer with God and then journal about your experience. I am going to read a verse from Psalm 46. It will probably be familiar to you. I will pause after each reading to allow time to reflect. Hear the words of the psalmist. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I. Be still and know that. Be still and know. Be still and. Be still. Be.